Welcome to Open BXRX Tuesday. I'm BronxNet. I'm your host, Sanji Lopez, and I'd like to invite you to get social with us at BronxNet TV on Instagram and Twitter, and BronxNet Community Television on Facebook. In a rare move, Governor Kathy Hochul held an emergency session that led to the extension of the eviction moratorium to January 2022. This is a sense of relief for more than 800,000 households statewide who are behind on rent, most of them low-income people and people of color scrambling to get access to rent relief through the ERAP Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Joining us now to discuss these updates from Hochul session, your rights as a tenant, landlord, and more is Marlon Valarezo, Executive Director of Legal Services at Neighborhood Association for Intercultural Affairs, NICA. Welcome, Marlon. Thank you so much again for joining us again to talk about this important eviction moratorium extension.
Thank you for having me.
Claro. So without further ado, please share the latest eviction moratorium updates following Governor Hochul's special session. What took place? What should we know?
So as you stated, she did call for an emergency session on September 1st because there are over 200,000 eviction cases pending, with at least 14,000 of those with eviction orders that were approved prior to the pandemic. So those tenants were very vulnerable. And as our governor was stating, she didn't want to allow residents of our state to face eviction, especially because, as we all know, there was a slow rollout for ERAP. In the beginning, there were a lot of issues which caused delays. So she did ask lawmakers to pass the new law extending the eviction moratorium to January 15th, 2022, for both commercial and residential evictions in New York State for those who were financially affected by COVID. And New York's lawmakers did pass this extension, and which will leave the moratorium extended till January 15th, 2022. And it extends the protections of the Safe Harbor Act, as well as enacts foreclosure protections for small landlords and homeowners as well.
Thank you for the update, Marlon. This is great news for renters and for tenants as well altogether. So something I wanted to mention is that state leaders also mentioned expanding the safety net for those that qualify for rental and landlord support. What will this look like, Marlon? Can you share?
So there was an additional 250 million that was also approved. And this basically was added to the already in existence ERAP program, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. And 125 million of it is now earmarked to fund a hardship program. And that will be for those earning between 80 AMI and 120 AMI. So for example, someone in 120 AMI, a family of one, could earn up to $100,000. And I know that it seems like, well, why would they need help? But they noticed that a lot of people who were applying for ERAP were above the 80 AMI, but had financial hardship. So they had to make that special allocation of money because the federal money would not allow for anyone above 80 AMI to receive assistance. So now this extra earmarked money will apply for those people. There was also an additional 125 million that was given now to assist landlords. And that's for those landlords that have uncooperative tenants who don't want to apply for ERAP, or with tenants that vacated owing arrears. They also added 25 million, which was to provide legal services in areas where access to free legal services has not been available in the past. Even though in New York we have right to counsel, a lot of the other portions of the state do not.
Got it. Thank you for that, Marlon. So, a big question is, should we be worried about facing this eviction moratorium debacle again come January 2022, once it's expired again, or even before the eviction moratorium is set to expire? What is the plan? Should we be worried about that happening again with the Supreme Court?
I mean, we're hoping now because there was, I know that there was an issue with the hardship declaration in the past where they struck it down because it violated due process rights. But they did manage to create a new system where you still submit a hardship declaration and you submit it stating this is my hardship reasons, but the landlord now has the opportunity to request a hearing, which makes it basically legal for everyone because now the landlord can oppose the hardship declaration, and at that point in a hearing they can discuss what the actual hardship is. And that gives due process, so the hardship declaration should be upheld going forward. Also, we don't know what will happen in January 2022, but we can only be hopeful that the New York State lawmakers will be prepared for an extension if needed in the future. But right now, our plan, as well as all the other providers, is to assist as many tenants as possible with applying for ERAP. So that means that any tenant, like I said, any tenant up to 120% AMI, so up to earning 100,000 can apply, and we're going to try and reach out to as many as possible. And right now what we're doing, as well as all the other agencies, is reaching out via mail and even calling tenants that owe rent but who have yet to apply for the program. So we're going to try and make sure that we get to as many people as possible so we can lower the amount of people that are facing eviction in the future.
Got it. So just to be clear, the New York State hardship declaration form is now in legal effect. That was what the Supreme Court ruled before, was that it had no legal effect at all. So they kind of just like just canceled
What
it.
they right. So what they did now is they updated it to include a due process clause. So that way, if the landlord feels that the tenant submitted a hardship declaration and there really wasn't a hardship, they can request a hearing.
Mm.
At which point the court will have the two parties there and basically ask the tenant to prove the hardship, which was not available before. They said that it was just the tenant stating I have a hardship and everyone believed them
Mm.
without a hearing. Now there will be a hearing if the landlord believes there was no hardship.
Got it. Good to know. Thank you, Marlon. So you are a lawyer. Let's talk about the law. The law says that once a tenant files the application for rent relief, it is supposed to freeze any eviction proceedings. Can tenants still be evicted for non-payment or any other reason at this time?
Well, yes. Remember, the eviction is stayed pending a decision. So we've told people if you're found ineligible for ERAP, like they're not approved, they may face eviction. So I'm still telling them submit a hardship declaration as well because you should have both stays in effect. So I mean, I would submit the hardship declaration to the court as well as applying for the ERAP. And also, if you get a denial for ERAP, there will be information on the notice how to do an appeal. So I encourage everyone, if you get denied, still appeal the decision. But that is an issue. If you do not do the hardship declaration and you're denied ERAP, you could face eviction.
Got it. So thousands of tenants have applied for the ERAP program so far, but not all have been approved. Maybe only 7% of total ERAP funds have been distributed so far as of the extension of the eviction. What are some of the challenges with the ERAP program application process? I know NICA is helping tenants apply for this now.
So I think with any program, it was new. It started very quickly because it was an emergency response.
Mm.
They put the program into place within like a few months, and I think that caused a lot of delays because there was shortage of staffing, there was shortage of training. Even our agencies received training literally the day before it went live.
Wow.
There was shortage of training of the OTDA staff as well as there was technical issues. But I will say that as of August 31st, over 300 million in rent assistance has been distributed to over 23,000 landlords. And Governor Hochul also increased staffing who are reviewing the applications and increased staff on the OTDA hotline, which is probably why, if you notice, in most of the approvals have been made within the last like 2, 3 weeks. So that is what caused a lot of these applications all of a sudden to now be approved, where they have been pending for 8 to 10 weeks, some of them. So we're hopeful now that a lot of these staffing issues have been corrected, as well as the technical issues, which did plague the portal in the beginning.
Mhm.
They're little by little, they've been improving them daily. So what we do is we report back daily to OTDA, the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, and let them know if there's an issue with the portal. And they respond to us as quickly as they can, and then they correct those glitches, as well as we meet weekly, all the providers with HRA. As a matter of fact, we usually meet Tuesdays at 2, and we discuss any issues that are occurring with OTDA, with the portal, and how we can correct it. And we get responses from HRA and OTDA to try and correct this. So we're hoping, because we've seen now all of a sudden the rise in approvals, that it will continue to get better.
Got it. Thank you, Marlon. Something that was discussed offline between you and I was at the legislature special session. Someone mentioned something about people being lazy to apply for the ERAP program. That is not the case, as Marlon just indicated. There have been troubleshooting issues, there have been application issues, lack of staff to help with this program. And as we know, many of our community members don't speak English. So, having access to, or they don't have access to technology. On top of that, we have a digital divide in our community. So we know that these issues are way bigger than what they were made to seem, and hopefully these funds are helping redirect that and helping people apply for the program.
Yes, and also we also have people who are doing duplicate applications in the beginning because they would start an application and they couldn't resume it. So
Mm.
example, you started an application and you had to leave because the school called or something happened with your child and you had to run, and then all of a sudden they lost that application. They would start a new application a few days later. So
Right.
it's caused a delay with OTDA because now they're trying to merge all those multiple applications that were created in the beginning. So a lot of this was, like I said, due to shortages in staffing and also with the technical issues, which as of late have been getting corrected. So we're just trying to say, please, people, reach out to us. We are assisting. What we will do is, if you cannot, you're not tech savvy and you can't email or fax us, we will make appointments for you at NICA, and you can come in and drop off in person the applications. Of course, we're going to be very you know, we want to make sure that there's safety protocols, so we won't have multiple clients at the same time. It'll be
Mhm.
usually every 20 minutes. So that way we maintain the safety of both the public as well as our staff, and
Right.
they can come in and drop it off in person, and then we will do the application over the phone. So they
Mm.
don't even have to leave the comfort of their home as long as they have a phone available. And if they don't, that's when we will make an appointment. But as long as they have a phone number, we can call you and we can do the application while we have you on the phone, and then you can come in with an appointment and drop off the document. So we're trying to make it as easy and seamless as possible so everyone can do this application.
Marlon, let's get that information out there for our viewers now. For anyone tuning in who needs assistance with the ERAP application, how can they get in touch with NICA at this time?
They can call our ERAP hotline at NICA at 718-866-0038, or they can email us at NICAERAP@NICANY.org. And also, we are, like you said, legal providers. I am an attorney, so we do have attorneys on staff. If you need some information and you're a tenant and it's regarding a housing related question, please call 718-538-4830 and you can speak to one of our attorneys who will provide information.
Before we go, just about the importance of applying for this rental assistance, and for people tuning in who may be a little shy, I guess, to reach out or not sure if they qualify for it. What is your message to the community?
I'd rather they call us or email us and ask the question than stay without the knowledge. So please, I've always say it, information is power. So if you call us, we will give you the information. Like I said, this new AMI, this was something that wasn't in effect as of Monday of last week. So now if you're earning up to 100,000, you can apply for ERAP. So please, I beseech you, I ask you, call us, get the information from us. I've had people who've emailed us who maybe don't want to call because I know sometimes I'm kind of funny on the phone too. Like I don't want to call people and wait, but email. We've had people email us and just say, "Do I qualify for ERAP?" And I'll say, "Well, what is your, and I'll email them back like, "What is your income?" And now that we have, like I said, increased the income, it helps expand the group of people we can reach out to.
Right. Thank you again, Marlon, for your time today. And please reach out to NICA at
Yes.
NICAERAP at NICANY.org. Call them at 718-866-0038 to find out more about the ERAP program that they're helping people apply for. Thank you,
And
Marlon.
we do speak Spanish as well. I just want to let people know we have most of our staff are bilingual. So I just want to let you know. And we have language lines if they don't speak that either of those English or Spanish. Okay.
They habla español and they speak other languages as well. So be sure to contact them. We'll be right back here on Open
Thank
BX
you.
Tuesday. Stay tuned.